Now at 8, President Trump announces a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, but just hours later, sirens sounded in Israel with reports of Iran launching another missile. Good evening. You're watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Christine Devine.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Susan Hirosuna here for Marla Tellez.
Iran responded to the ceasefire announcement saying it will only stop its attacks if Israel stops its airstrikes immediately.
But sirens right now are sounding in Israel. The IDF saying Iran has launched missiles. This situation is continuously developing. Our coverage tonight begins with Fox's Connor Hansen and how he got here,
President Trump says Israel and Iran have fully agreed to a ceasefire, ending what he's now calling the 12-day war. The news came just hours after Iran tried to retaliate against the U.S. for its strikes on the country's nuclear program. Announcing a ceasefire on social media, President Trump wrote, quote, "This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America, and God bless the world."
The president really hit the reset button and said, look, let's actually produce long-term peace for the region.
Earlier in the day, Iranian missiles could be seen being blown up in the sky above Qatar. The president says no one was hurt and there was hardly any damage at the El Udeid military base. Gulf nations like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and UAE condemned Iran's strike on the U.S. base. The U.S. expected retaliation after bombing 3 of Iran's nuclear sites. New footage released by the Air Force shows the B-2 bombers used in that mission. Before the ceasefire announcement, Israel said it carried out its most extensive airstrikes on Iran.
When you understand the enormous war machine that was built on the Iranian nuclear program by Iran, you understand what an enormous risk it is to the world.
President Trump made his announcement around 6 p.m. Eastern Time, saying the ceasefire would take effect 6 hours later. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
The violence having ripple effects abroad and here at home.
Fox 11's Laura Diaz continues our coverage live from the Little Tehran neighborhood in Westwood. Laura?
Yes, a possible ceasefire between Israel and Iran. People are all talking about it. Of course, they're trying to figure out if it's actually real. We talked to an expert in international relations. He weighs in on this topic.
The Iranian government is in a bind. They're looking at a multi-front war with the United States and Israel, maybe even Qatar if it decides to retaliate after the rockets that were fired at its territory today. And its domestic security is in shambles. Its leadership is in hiding, if not decimated. There's really little maneuver and room for Iran to do anything that would not either inflame the situation. And we keep in mind, this regime's goal is not the integrity of the country or its sovereignty, is its survival.
That's Dr. Benjamin Rad reacting to the news, saying, of course, that it is an amount of survival that weighs in on their decision-making. President Trump announced on Truth Social that Israel and Iran have agreed to a complete and total ceasefire scheduled to begin in 6 hours. That post was posted roughly 5 hours ago. Of course, it's all a bit confusing. As you were reporting, Iran is still sending missiles to Israel. People that we talked to today are all hoping that it's true. But here locally in Los Angeles, even the possibility of peace brought joy to people, and here's what they had to say.
They're confident that they were able to sufficiently destroy or disrupt Iran's nuclear program, that it's going to be a very, very long time before they can do anything like that again.
I pray that it holds and that there's a permanent ceasing of this destruction of life.
Coming back here to Little Tehran, where we've been speaking to people all evening long, some people were quite reluctant to go on the record. Nearly everyone we spoke to was excited about the prospect of peace. They want war to end. They do not want it to end up coming to this country as well. A lot of people expressed that sentiment, but clearly there was an upbeat feeling that possibly this could be coming to an end. Laura Diaz reporting live, sending it back to the studio.
Laura, we know that Los Angeles has the largest population of Iranians outside of Iran, that community in general. Talk about, if you can, that neighborhood there for people who may not be too familiar with it.
Well, you know, it's a beautiful neighborhood. I have to say that I haven't spent much time here until today. You are able to see off to my right, there's a beautiful shop with fresh fruit. Down the block, we were able to enjoy a nice ice cream shop. It's the kind of place where people hang out, enjoy an evening here, have a nice meal, sitting out, talking among themselves. And, you know, they said that they're very well aware of what's happening in the world, that what they all hope for is peace, but they sometimes question, because they think peace is quite fragile, about the long road to get there. Christine and Susan?
Thank you so much, Laura. Coming up at 8:30, a former Iranian soldier now living in Los Angeles shares his perspective on the conflict. It's a story you'll see only on Fox LA, right here at 8:30.